Hi and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to talk about some of these tanks, which ones you should focus on as low spender, free to play, and I'll tell you why I chose them. So when they first came out with these, they released the tanks that usually you'll see MK1, so Inferno Striker MK1, Thunderblade MK1, and Skyfall MK1. These were the first tanks to be released. They're the actual true first generation. And then so the second set of the tanks that came out was the Inferno Striker MK2, the Skyfall MK2, and the Thunderblade MK2. These are all considered Gen 1 tanks, and then originally there was three, which are the Ironclad Sentinel, Ravager, and Piercer. These ones were originally purple that I have successfully upgraded to gold. They appear much stronger than they are when you look at the power. This one is part of a mech. But these other two, I leave them at level 1, so the game doesn't automatically choose them. But let's talk about this one. So Inferno Striker MK1, mine is maxed, but what I always looked at was the passive skill. So for every 6 infantry base attacks, the tank creates a 450% shield strength to protect all friendly troops. When infantry health is below 50%, shield strength is increased by 35%. So I always found that this one was a good match for resilience marches because it focuses on shield, and when your infantry health is below, the shield increases. So for Thunderblade MK1, at the start of the battle and for every 6 rider base attacks, the armored car deals 400% damage to enemy front row and increases damage taken by the enemy infantry by 10% for 2 turns. The things that cause more damage, I generally consider them to be better with Berserk, because Berserk squads focus on causing damage or reducing the damage reduction of the enemy, which is why it's a counter to yellow in general. Not right now though. Yellow is very overpowered now with the resonated heroes. So I always use this one. Once again, these are for if this is what your choices are. And then once again, this one is max too because it's part of my mech. And then we have Skyfall MK1. This one, for every 6 hunter base attacks, the artillery deals 200% damage to enemy front row. Damage is increased by 10% with each release stacking up to 3 times. This is one of the hunter tanks. And this would work really well with Berserk, but this will work with all types of hero squads. It's not specific. So you could use that one and then use the Inferno Striker MK1, which is infantry, and then the Thunderblade MK1, which is a rider. So they all work together. And you can see as you increase the levels of them, they do increase stats, everything. But I've always paid attention to these passive skills. So when they first came out, I went right for it. I started getting all the frags and getting them unlocked before I actually knew if they were going to be good or not. So that it was easier for me to max my Gen 1 tanks, which are increasingly expensive, especially now. The next level, I still have a handful of upgrades left. I need 130, and then the last one to max it is 170. So it takes a lot of plasma and a lot of frags for these Gen 1 tanks. But they are able to be applied to any hero squad type. You can apply them in general. You don't have to worry about switching the tanks in between. You can just have it set that this is the 3 you're going to use. And then we have the second set for Gen 1, and that's the Inferno Striker MK2. This one, at the start of the battle and for every infantry base attack, the tank creates a 450% strength shield to protect itself. And then when your infantry health is below 50%, it increases the damage dealt by all friendly troops by 120%. So I really like to use it in this one. I felt it was pretty effective in battle. Once your infantry is starting to get low, because obviously your infantry takes most of the hits, and then it increases the damage dealt by all friendly troops, which includes in your rally, because your tanks would be active. So this means that everyone in your rally, everyone in your building, the damage dealt by every one of the friendly troops is increased by 120%. So that one was a favorite of mine to use. And then we have Skyfall MK2. For every 6 hunter base attacks, the artillery deals 200% damage to enemy front row. The more important part is at the start of the battle, it deals 350% damage. That's before anything happens. So that was my go-to also, because anything that helped me before we even start the actual battle is good. And then we have Thunderblade MK2. This would be my third favorite one. And this one has Sentinel's Blessing. For every 6 rider-based attacks, the armored car deals 320% damage to enemy front row and restores 60% troop health. This heals so many troops in long battles. It's crazy. But this was one of the 3 go-to ones I used. It was this one, Sentinel's Blessing, Lightning Assault, and then Final Fury, which is on the Inferno Striker MK2. And they're all technically still considered Gen 1, but they were the second release of tanks. Now, these Gen 1 tanks, when you're in an older state, are much harder to accumulate the frags for. But when they first released, that was so much easier. I was able to get quite far quickly. So keep on it if you're in an older state and you'd like to get these done. Once they're maxed, you're actually able to use them in mechs. So if you'd like to focus on them, I did like those to begin with because they are applied generally. You don't have to spend all this extra time switching back and forth. And they'll go right along with when new generations of heroes come along in newer states, where you just add them to it. Because it doesn't matter what hero squad they are, what hero types. But if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. And thanks for watching. And until next time, bye-bye.